Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rebecca Rice and I teach family photographers how to gain a life of financial freedom through a thriving photography business. Today we're talking about one of my all-time favorite topics, and that is mini sessions. We're going to talk through how to run fall mini sessions successfully and fully booked. So let's dive in. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that like button on this video so that other photographers just like you are able to find it easier, and hit subscribe so that you can get notified when new videos go live every single week. Now, before we jump into the nitty-gritty of fall mini sessions, I wanted to let you know about a free guide that I have just for you guys, and it basically is a blueprint that walks you through how to make your first $3,000 on a single date of mini sessions. So if you've never done minis before, or you have but you've never made $3,000 or more on a single date, like 2 to 3 hours of minis, then this blueprint is for you. So it's down in the description. You can download it today, and I know that it'll be helpful for you, especially heading into fall mini season. Okay, so let's talk through mini sessions. First, I think it's really important to talk through what is a mini session, because I feel like it's one of those buzzwords that a lot of people in the industry use, and not very many people have the same, definition of it. In my book, a mini session is a 10 to 20 minute session that's booked in time blocks, so that you, the photographer, chooses on a date that you, the photographer, chooses, as well as a location that you choose. And it only includes 5 images. So the point of a mini is to be a bite of the cake and not the whole cake. So if you're doing mini sessions that are just basically short full sessions that people can book anytime, that's not the most strategic way to do it. I always stack my minis in a time block on a date. That way you're not driving back and forth for a short session. It's just not worth your time, and it's not a good way to maximize your profit. So stack them on a time block. And if you're giving away more than probably 5 images, you're giving away way too many. There is, some strategic things that you can do with upselling that does not involve in-person sales, because I don't know about you, but I do not have time for in-person sales. But there are some things that you can do to, deliver extra images and upsell from there. I should probably do a whole video later all about upselling, but we'll just stick with basics here, that you want to deliver about maybe 20 images and have 5 included with their session so that they can choose their 5 or they can purchase more from there. Another big question that people have about mini sessions, especially in the fall, is do I do a theme and use props or do without? I know for us, we usually do a theme for Christmas minis where we have a cute Christmas setup, but for the fall, we don't do a theme. We just pick a really beautiful location and they book out every single year. And so the reason for that is sometimes people are just looking for, a few updated photos for holiday cards or maybe to put around their house. And if you have something super themed, they can't use it for as many things. And so I like to just pick a beautiful spot. I'll take promo shots there so that people can see what it looks like with a real family. And that usually books really, really well. And so I highly suggest in the fall, just pick a beautiful location. Make it easier on yourself. You can save the setup and the theme for Christmas, and that will go really well. But for the fall, it's just not necessary. Now, when it comes to picking a location and time and day for your minis, I've tried a lot of different things. And I know some people do really well doing minis during the week, but for me and for my ideal clients, weekend minis usually go best because they don't have to worry about work schedules or anything like that. And it just works well. And so I typically shoot either Saturday morning or evenings or Sunday evenings. I go to church on Sunday mornings, so that just doesn't work with my schedule, but that typically books really, really well. Now, some things to keep in mind, I like to shoot about 2 to 3 hour time blocks. And so you want to make sure that you're not shooting during nap time. Avoid that at all costs because you'll just have really unhappy kids. So if I'm shooting a morning session, I usually start about 8 o'clock and I'll go 8 to 10 a.m. Sometimes, especially if the sun starts coming up earlier and earlier, you'll run into some interesting lighting situations towards the end of your minis. But I just know that people typically with young kids, it's really hard to get out of the house and to a session before 8 a.m. So I usually start at 8, no matter what time the sun rises, and go to about 10 and make sure that I have a location that's conducive for that. So for me, I look for locations for mini sessions that have a lot of open shade, or they have, a lot of light in the background, because I have a light and airy style. So I don't want to go and shoot with a bunch of thick greenery behind my clients. I want places with, a big open field, lots of light coming in, or if we're doing, a more urban, I am looking for lots of open shade, things that are conducive for my shooting style. So in the mornings, I pay attention to the location and the time block. If I'm shooting in the evenings, I pay attention to sunset, because I personally, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like shooting in golden hour. To me, the pictures just look too orange for my style. And so I actually stop shooting an hour before sunset. So if I know the sun sets at 8 p.m., I'm going to stop shooting by 7 p.m. and I count back from there. So if I'm doing 2 hours, I start at 5 and I go 5 to 7 p.m. If I'm doing 3, I'll go 4 to 7 p.m. I don't like to go earlier than 4 p.m. because of the lighting, but also because like nap time and stuff. I know for us, sometimes my kids go down for a nap kind of late and they don't wake up until 4 p.m. And so, I want to try to make it flexible for families that have kids that nap. And so I don't like shooting before 4 p.m. So I'll go 4 to 7, 5 to 7, something like that, so that I stop shooting before sunset. And still in the evening, I'm looking for locations with open shade. I'm looking for locations with lots of light. But in addition to that, I'm also looking for locations that are not super busy, with lots of foot traffic and things like that. Because when you're doing mini sessions, you have a short amount of time and you don't want to spend all of that time waiting for people to pass by behind you because it's a busy area that you're in. And so pay attention, go location scouting and around the time that you'd be shooting, so that you can see what the foot traffic is like, or if there's like cars driving by or things like that. So pick your location strategically. The next tip that I have for fall minis is when you're actually shooting them. So our like sweet spot that I teach my students is about 15-minute minis back to back. And some people are like, oh my gosh, I do not think I could do that. I promise, if you go in with a plan, then you absolutely can get every shot that you need in 15 minutes. I like to use a posing workflow to make that happen. And so basically a posing workflow is just a list of shots that I get for every single family. And I'll just walk through them really quickly. I start with the whole family together. Then I do just mom and the kids, just dad and the kids, kids together, kids individually, and then we do the whole family again to end the session, and then any other like random shots that they would like. So I know in every mini session that I do, I'm going to do my shots in that order, and it goes by really, really fast. I'm able to get everything I need. Honestly, if everybody cooperates, I can get everything I need in about 7 minutes. And I just know that from doing this for a long time. And so I know that I have that extra time to, play with the kids and whatever, if I need kids to cooperate, things like that. But having that posing workflow is vital when it comes to, staying on time with your mini sessions. And so if you need to like write it down in a note on your phone, keep it as like, save it as a screenshot or save the screenshot as like your phone saver or whatever. I've seen people put them on their Apple Watch, whatever you need to do to remind yourself of that posing workflow. I promise it for sure is worth it. And then the last piece I want to talk through with executing your fall minis well would be delivery and upselling. So I use ShootProof to deliver my galleries. It's my all-time favorite gallery delivery system. It's just so easy to use and it has really great automations with it. So I mentioned before, I don't have time for in-person sales. So what I love about ShootProof is I'm able to set up my gallery so that it limits the number of downloads that my client can have. So I deliver about 20 to 30 images with every mini session. but they only come with 5 with their session fee. And so in Shoeproof, I'm able to limit the number of downloads to 5, so they can only download their 5, and then if they want to purchase more from there, they can using the shopping cart feature. So in Shoeproof, you can set up a shopping cart, and I set up the digitals so that they're $65 each, sets of 3 for $90, or the full gallery for $200. I've tested less expensive, more expensive. This is the sweet spot pretty much across the board. For me, for my students, it works really, really well. And the reason it's priced like that is so that it encourages people to not just buy one photo. They'll either get 3 or they'll get that full gallery. And it works every time. I'm telling you, if you're not upselling, you absolutely should be. So the beauty of it is in Shoeproof, I have email campaigns that are automated that I set up one time and then just apply to the gallery. So it does the selling for me. And in the actual gallery, I don't have to go back and forth with them to figure out which ones they want to buy and invoice them and all the things. It's all done in the gallery because I deliver only fully edited images. It's not that much more work to just edit the rest of them. So I deliver only edited images, so I don't have to go back and forth with them, and it goes really, really smoothly to allow them to purchase more from there. So there you have it. There are some quick tips for your fall mini sessions. If you have any questions about fall minis, go ahead and comment them below and I would love to help you. And if you haven't checked out that free guide, I know that it would be helpful for you. So do that. And honestly, like mini sessions are my favorite thing. My students call me the queen of mini sessions. I could talk about them all day. So please ask your questions and I would love to help. I also have some resources linked in the description, some additional free resources. If you want to check out Shoeproof, I've got a link for that as well. So you can find everything you need in the description. And with that, we'll go ahead and close out. So I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.